BPod Studios.
Dutcher and Hardy, the reviews are in.
I got to say, I don't want to talk about you. Give me about 5 minutes of my time.
Hear what he said. Now more of on the Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. Hello. Human feces, urine, and debris. Ta-da. Hello. Yes. Hello. Jackpot. Hello. Hello.
I'm John Wallach on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hello.
How do you like that?
Hello. Welcome to the show. How humiliating.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dutcher and Hardy Show. Hardy is finishing up his vacation today. And that leaves us with our good friend Dan Roche, along with Johnny Wallgame. And we are in the Town Fair Tire Studios. You can watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv or the Twitch app. 617-779-0985. And this hour of our show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. I'm very responsible, so I brought in, Dan.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, well, everyone's pointing at you.
Well,
and
you
you're
had
raising
your
your
hand
I just had
up.
my hand up. That's all I was going to wait. You can say what
Well,
you're gonna say.
if John's pointing at you and you have your hand up, the two of you have got something cooking. So what's going on?
You
don't
were
at all.
raising your hand like Arnold Horseshack in class.
I was
pick on me.
I was being polite and just taking my time. When you were done your statement, I was going to say
that's
something.
on me,
Dan,
then.
That's
go-
all.
The two of you are gesticulating all over the place. What's going on? You tell me. Now it's already the ball's down the road. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you. I just had a random question that came into my mind when you were talking about
all right.
Hardy.
Go ahead.
And I was going to say, because you always talk about Disney and everything else, what I do. If you had a vacation, you could go one place on vacation. Where would you go? That was all.
That's why you raised your hand?
I was waiting. I could have waited plenty of time.
Do you raise
Fred.
your hand in like when you're out to dinner with people?
No, I was
Is
being
that how
polite.
you have conversations? You
Sorry.
raise your hand?
And forget it. I was just being polite.
I don't know if that was polite. I was talking, and you two were moving around all
I think
physical.
John just saw the corner of his eye. He saw me raise my hand. We weren't
I was
connecting
being
anything.
polite. Dan would like
Yeah.
to be recognized by the class.
I don't think
Don't be
well,
so
I don't
sensitive,
need,
like we were doing something to you.
I don't need you to help him.
John,
That's
John,
on me.
John,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes,
That's
that is on
me.
you.
Right.
This is on me.
Hey, John, when we get on,
All right.
30 seconds in, point to me.
Okay, if one person is raising their hand,
On me.
all right, you morons, listen to me. I'm right here. If someone's talking on the radio and one person is wildly pointing at the other one while the other one's raising their hand and waving it around, one would assume something's going on, like someone died, and that you needed to make an announcement. And I'm not wrong.
now you sound like a parent.
This is because I am because this is BS.
You two.
This is
You do
BS.
stuff behind my back.
This is
Cut it out.
this is BS. If I didn't have anything really good to say, but
Oh, okay, good.
no, that's not. But that don't
Don't change
stop.
the subject
Don't
on me.
change the subject.
Son.
If someone is pointing at someone like he's got something, and then the other person's waving their hand, Dan, you can tell me. Literally, I would prefer almost if you told me to F myself. Is Dan listening to the show? If I'd prefer if you told me to F myself.
Well, I'm back here trying not to make movements because you and I know that when I do, it's to probably get your attention.
Yes.
When you just said
and
Dan,
I know because we've been doing this together for
Shut
how
up,
long?
Rochie, because when he said Dan, I thought he was talking to you.
Oh no. Okay, so
are- yes.
Dan O'Brien. My bad. I forgot there was two Dans.
Sorry.
See, I can admit when I'm wrong. I admit when there's two Dan. But please, I don't mind. Tell me to go screw. But wouldn't you, if one guy's pointing at the other guy while the other guy's waving, I thought someone died. And I thought I was going to go into this thing about how there's a half-eaten peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the refrigerator, and meanwhile, some great person is laying, or there was like some massive massacre. I mean, that's usually what goes on when something like that
They want
happens.
your attention. Oh, look at the TV, Fred. There's something going on. Like your hands are waving.
Exactly. And if it was something funny that, like on the TV, then I look and have a chuckle.
Sure.
But there was nothing. It was just he wanted to ask me if I would go on vacation. Where would I go?
Wanted to point at you.
What if you're at a grocery store and the guy right next to you in line is pointing at you and yelling at you? Are you going to go get security, or you going to do something right there?
All right.
That's what he did. That's what Fred did. He took Johnny's advice.
Haji Maji. So you would go to Disney?
Oh, you know the places I go. I'd go to Cape, Disney, or
You'd go to
Cooperstown.
You'd go to Cape Cod above anything else?
No, it's one of the places. Chatham for Cape League games in the summer.
But if you had an unlimited budget and an unlimited time, you would choose the Cape?
Chatham.
Really?
Yeah.
You like it that much?
Love it. Love the daily routine, Fred.
Okay. Jonathan, of course, would go to Seattle.
No.
I know where
Just to
Jonathan.
stand outside the arena. To
I know
not
where-
go in and see the Kraken.
I had an.
I know where you would go.
What is that?
I think, and I'm not joking.
Okay.
And I'm not making a bird joke. I think you would go to Hawaii. You speak very highly of Hawaii.
I love Hawaii. I do. I spent my honeymoon there. Spent 2 weeks there, and I still think about the trip. It was fantastic.
That's where Dan O'Brien would go.
Dan can attest. Hawaii is a great place. I was at different islands. And
Sugar
Dan
Daddy.
goes to. If I had an unlimited budget, I'd probably go to Tokyo. I've always wanted to go to Pacific Rim. I've
Tokyo?
never been.
I would pay not to go to Tokyo.
Yeah, me
Why?
too.
Because they're well. First of all, you know when your friends go abroad,
Yeah.
and then they come back and they marvel at how like lovely the world is. Mm-hmm. I had a friend, and this is no fault of the region, but I have a friend who was had spent 6 months in a smaller city in Japan, and he came back and he was like, I lost my mind.
Oh,
He's
he
like,
hated
this
it.
was was terrible.
Okay.
Because, and I'll tell you why. Because, but in fairness, he was there alone. He has a family, but he was there alone for 6 months. Just no one speaks English, and nothing. They don't.
None of the
cater.
signs are in English.
Yeah,
nothing in the announcements. Nothing on the trains.
We had an interpreter when the Red Sox. When we went out with the Red Sox, they gave us an interpreter.
Yeah, see, he didn't, and so it was like incredibly isolating. And so, unless you're catering exactly to what I need. I have no time. And this is not Japan's problem. This is my own.
You never answered the question either, by the way.
I don't know. I haven't. Yes, thank you for raising your hand again. Because there's nothing you like to see out of your peripheral vision than someone waving their hand at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Didn't point at him that time, Fred. That was
That a boy, John.
Yeah, thank you, John. That
Started the day off right.
I could have just ignored him. But when the two or the three people are going crazy,
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been there. I'd have to think about it. I like
You an island guy?
Yes, I like Anguilla quite a bit, but I could go there anyway. I am an island guy. I enjoy that. I enjoy the vibes.
When there
You know what I'm
isn't
saying?
like a Jimmy Buffett restaurant there. Yeah.
No, Turks and Caicos is a lovely place, except for when they drop you off at the Jimmy Buffett restaurant. They literally drop you off on a concrete. If you don't know the story, Dan, I was on a cruise one time, and we were going to the usual Eastern Caribbean islands, and I was, satisfied with them. They were fine. But I had never been to Turks and Caicos at that point, so I was very excited about Turks and Caicos. It was a beautiful island. And so the cruise ship dropped us off on a concrete dock, a mile-long concrete dock. And it was by nothing with no transportation to get off the dock. And, in fact, we had a day excursion, but it was 2 hours on this beach where we walked a mile down the dock, got on a bus. It took us about 7 feet down the road and then dropped us off, and there was an oil tanker in the, like a big oil tanker in the
Scenic.
ocean.
Yeah. Lovely.
And but we were there for like 12 hours, and they dropped us at a place where the only two things were a Margaritaville, like a huge Margaritaville, with one of those like infinite wave rides and stuff. Like it was like a whole scene in a Ron John surf shop. Those were the two things. And there was a Carnival cruise boat that got dropped off there too. It's a trap. And that's what it is. It's a trap. It traps you there. Like you could stay on the boat or you could go to Margaritaville. Those are your two options. And it's a 12-hour scam. and they had dropped, and you know it's bad because the Carnival cruise ship was docked there, and that's rolling syphilis. That's just sailing syphilis. That's syphilis of the seas.
Alrighty.
And the scum that are on that thing. And so I'm at this Margaritaville, and I'm with, at the time, my wife. We don't have any kids with us or anything. And these people on the Carnival cruise, they couldn't be happier to be there. They were just so overjoyed that they were at this Margaritaville. And we could have been in Indianapolis. I mean, we could have been anywhere. We could have been in Jacksonville, Florida. We could have been in the
didn't really matter.
Worst place on the planet. It was just this giant Margaritaville. I mean, they had rides. It was just this garbage Margaritaville. And everyone on my boat was pissed. I remember they were selling beer by the yard, and it was like $50. First of all, who wants a yard of beer by the end of it? I mean, this is the Caribbean, so by the end of it, it's just warm spit, or hot spit. And they were selling these yards of beer, and they were like $50. Everything was like $50 because they had you. They had you trapped.
Imagine working in a place like that where it's always 1,000,000 degrees. You're dealing with tourists 100% of the time. And you have to carry these idiots yards of beer.
I mean,
and the people that come off the Carnival cruises that you have to deal with.
And then you got to touch them, touch things that they've touched.
I mean, talk about being trapped.
Oh, yeah, that's hell.
Jesus.
Now, in fairness, if people are tipping you at all, bills are astronomically high.
Oh, I thought it was you make money like a nickel at a time. No? You think? All right.
No, with $50, they got a tip with $50 yards of beer and with a captive audience, but it's no fun. I can only imagine. I guess part of it was jealousy that these people were so excited just to be what was obviously a trap. But I guess they're the winners at the end because they probably came home and said it was like the greatest thing ever.
Right.
And I'm sitting here
some of the
bitching
online
about
reviews. Yeah.
You got to go.
Is it good?
As we've been to Grand Turk before, visiting Margaritaville is always on our list of things to do. Yes, there's a bar, but there's also a gift shop, and the gift shop is what we like to check out. They do have nice T-shirts with clever designs.
Oh, gee, well, that's a moron. Well, that's someone who posts online.
Yes, whether they are from Dyer, Indiana, D-Y-E-R.
Yeah. Okay, so that gives you an example of who goes
One
there.
stoplight in that
January
town,
2024, the review was put up.
Yeah, they went to the gift shop.
Take a look at the population of Dyer, Indiana. I'm betting it's no more than 5,000.
Larry Bird's way.
Next one says, this was a bonus on our cruise.
Oh.
Everyone hit the pool, the DJ had the vibes going, and the partied the day away.
Yep. And then
got back on the boat.
And then you get back on the boat. Yeah, you partied the day away, and then you got back on the boat.
16,000 in Dyer, Indiana. That's a lot more than I thought there was going to be.
It's not that many.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. All right.
I don't mean to go back on something, Fred, but you kind of threw something out there while you were saying something, and it kind of got sidetracked. You opened up the fridge, and there was a half-eaten peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah, and so I just want to know the economic situation of the person with the half-eaten.
Is that something we should investigate?
I don't. It's in a bag, and it's on the top shelf.
In a Ziploc bag.
In a Ziploc bag. Someone who works at the station ate half a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and then thought enough of it economically to put it back, to not throw it away.
Save this for later.
And I'm going to save this for tomorrow. A peanut butter and jelly. What do you think is the overhead on the peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
50 cents?
Right.
Oh, no way.
Probably 10.
10 cents?
White
bread? Well, it's got to be white bread, right?
It's white bread.
Yeah.
So what's let's do the exercise. What's a jar of peanut butter cost? $6?
$3.69.
$3.69.
Yeah.
All right. So there's probably 25 servings in a jar. So do the math. That's a hand.
14 cents.
14 cents. And then jelly, same thing. So let's just say that's 15 cents. So now you're at 29 cents.
Yeah.
And then say it's
for
10,
bread probably now is $4.50.
all right, so let's say it's 10 cents. So you're in there under 75 cents, and you're keeping that thing.
There's bite marks in it.
And was there a please don't touch this on the note on the bag?
No, I think if there's a bite mark in it, you know pretty much not to touch it.
It's halfway
Yeah.
done. I mean,
Yeah.
that's nothing sadder than keeping it would be picking it up and eating. Be real text. He says probably Nick. Jelly goes right to the ass. If it was a member of the
That's
show,
jam because jelly don't shake.
it's true.
Hey.
If it was a member of the show, I would feel like I would have to help out in some way.
Here you go. Here's a couple bucks.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all right, dude. Like, you got to make it. Bringing in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to eat is responsible, in like good economic sense. Eating half of it and then saving the second half is an act of desperation. Like, I would contend that like there's homeless people that don't do that.
Or maybe it was so good that he was like, or he or she was like, I'm going to just savor this and wait.
Well, thank you for not gender identifying who left the
You might
thing.
insult someone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that if you made a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich, the ability to make another one
Yeah,
is right around the corner.
I don't think you're stopping.
I mean, but it is like a good Margaritaville's gift shop.
Right.
I mean, those are the people.
That's
Dyer,
what you want to
Indiana.
check out. Yeah.
Those are the people. All right. We'll be back. When we come back, Jonathan, what are we going to talk about?
Celtics played last night. The Bruins played last night. And in this hour, we have a reason not to trade for Justin Fields if you're the Patriots.
All right. So we will have all that coming up in just...
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Wondering who made our list of the top 5 all-time queens of country music? Did Carrie Underwood make the cut? Find out now when you text Queens to 45911 and scroll through the list on BackstageCountry.com. Text Queens to 45911 to see the talented artists who rounded out our top 5 list.
This station.
Twitch feed of this is going to be used all around the internet.
Get up.
The cat is finally out of the bag.
Get up.
We're back. Toucher and Hardy.
Get up.
98.5 The Sports Zone.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Jackpocket. Download the app now and use code HUB to get your first lottery ticket free. What's going on, Johnny Wallgame?
They're starting their road trip with an overtime win in Edmonton 2 nights ago, the Bruins did. They played the second evening of a back-to-back in Calgary yesterday. The Flames had already beaten the Bruins once 4-1 at TD Garden a little over 2 weeks ago, so they were looking for the series sweep. They took a 2-1 lead after one, but Charlie Coyle got his team even early in the second period.
Puck wrapped out in front, banked ahead for Coyle with a step, right circle, walks in, back in, he scores! Charlie Coyle using that reach, able to get Markstrom down and shovel it over the top of him. His second of the night. Bruins 2, Flames 2.
There, let's turn the microphone on. Charlie Coyle scored twice for the Bruins in this one. He now has 20 goals for the season. That's one off his career high. The two teams played through the third period and into overtime, tied at 2. This is the second time in as many nights the Bruins have played beyond regulation. The fourth game in a row that's happened. However, unlike their game in Edmonton the previous evening, the home team had the last word in this one.
Here's Kadri on the line, left circle, shoots, he scores! Nazem Kadri at the bottom of the left circle, rifled one low on Lena Solmark. The Boston Bruins have taken 3 of a possible 4 points on their first 2 games on a West Coast swing. Your final here in overtime tonight, Flames 3 and the Bruins 2.
That's a very positive outlook for it by Judd Surratt last night on this radio station. Nazem Kadri's goal with 1:04 left in overtime handed the Flames a 3-2 win. Jim Montgomery's team, as I just explained, had played a lot of extra hockey recently.
Urgency, and we need to find our legs. I thought, the perfect example was I thought Pav, I talked to him, I thought his legs were really heavy in the first period. I moved him off the line, and halfway through the period, he goes, I found my legs. So it was kind of the feeling the team had. We got better throughout the game. We got a point. Like to finish that off in overtime.
Bruins are 1-0-1 on the 4-game road trip. They visit Vancouver tomorrow evening. The hockey, however, Fred, I think has been better as of late. They'd played some embarrassing hockey at home, but these 2 games they played much better.
I wish there was no overtime, for this is where they've continued to falter.
They had good chances, though. Markstrom was good in overtime.
Well, he made up for the coming out of the net and
the gift.
Yeah, the gift. He made up for that. But the good news is it's 5-on-5 overtime in the playoffs. That these losses and shootouts and overtimes aren't going to be a factor come the playoffs, which is really what everyone's focusing
The
on.
Bruins have played 12 games beyond regulation this season. That's second in the league.
Yeah. And how many overtime losses do they have?
They don't have it set up by that. Let's see. Shootout.
Oh, no,
wins and
just losses in terms of their overall record.
Yeah,
that
they
aren't
have 12.
regulation losses.
They have 12 overtime / shootout losses.
Okay. All right, that's what you were saying.
Yes.
Yeah, and how many times have they been to overtime or shootout? I wonder.
Let's see.
Because I don't think they're doing well.
The way I'm looking at it here, 5 of those 12 have gone to shootouts.
Okay.
7 have ended in overtime.
All right. And I wonder how many of them those they've won out of
three shootout wins, 2 shootout losses. As far as just strict overtime, I don't have that.
Okay, because it doesn't seem like it would be good.
No,
but it's 5-on-5. This is all about the playoffs. This is all just an exercise to get to the first round, when we can then truly judge them. But yes, I mean, you got to hand it to Billy Jaffe. He was right. They just wanted to get the hell out of town, which tells you something about the hockey players. Because the whole thing is you go, oh, wow, they have this great break to get healthy.
Be home with the kids.
Right, and they get to be home, and wow, isn't this fantastic? And then they're like, wow, and then you have this homestand. This has got to be fantastic. I think they were home with the break and everything for 4 or 5 weeks. They were just home forever. And Jaffe and Beers and everyone is going, no, this is not good for them. This is bad. They don't like it. They don't like being home. They want to get the hell out of town. The further away, the better. And so that's all it took, is that they had to get out of town. Yeah, they were miserable. They were miserable people at home.
They're playing with pure joy right now.
Exactly. It's just so funny because you play this regular season for what? For home ice. You play in every sport. They're home. Well, you got to like them because they're favored at home. They're home. But who knew that being home in hockey was this giant albatross?
It's funny. I'm in a situation now where I just assume, obviously, the Bruins are going to the playoffs. I'm looking at other opponents to see, okay, how long can they stay away from Florida? And Florida is 2 points behind them for first place in the division. The way it sets up right now, the Bruins would actually play Detroit. Detroit's a point up on Tampa Bay at the moment.
I take that.
So, yeah, I mean, the wild card as it stands right now, let me get those wild cards.
How good is Detroit, Fred?
Detroit is...
They're on the come, but not this year.
Detroit is a point up on Tampa Bay. They both have the wild card spots. I thought Tampa Bay fell out of a wild card spot. So at the moment, the Bruins would play Tampa Bay in the first round because they're the second wild card.
I obviously would prefer to play the Red Wings.
Yes, I would too. But yeah, look, as long as you can stay away from Florida, and Billy Jaffe's been in here, and every hockey person we've talked to say, you know what, you want to stay, and you've said it yourself, Fred, over the last couple of months, Florida is a tough team to play in a playoff series. You want to stay away from them as long as possible, and although Tampa Bay is not ideal, they're not the team they once were.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want Florida in the second round, not the first round.
And I think that I got to believe that mentally just getting through the first round would be an accomplishment.
That's a win.
And so maybe a lot of the pressure's off once you get through the first round. You would hope.
Yeah.
So I think that playing Florida in the second round is a much better situation.
Yeah, Florida has given up 138 goals in 57 games. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Under 3 a night.
Yeah, that sounds like another brutal conservative series where the Bruins just get worn down, and it goes to 7 games, and by the 7th game they have nothing left.
And they still don't have that thumper they need. And the trade deadline, by the way, is sneaky. Is coming up.
It's 2 weeks from today, right?
Yep. Trade deadline is 2 weeks from today. So Don Sweeney has a franchise-altering decision to make. You've painted yourself into a corner with all the trades that you've made before. You do not have a lot of depth as a result. You do not have a lot of first-round draft picks.
They have
deal.
none.
Yeah.
So I don't need. So a major trade is out of the question.
No. You're adding an ancillary piece in the bottom.
But let's
6.
say who would you trade off the roster?
I would trade
to go get somebody.
I would trade Grzelcyk. I would trade DeBrusk. I would trade.
I would definitely. By the way, it's a good. I'm glad you brought this up. I would definitely trade DeBrusque in his walk year.
Yes,
you can get something for him, and he's not helping you. And you can't spend the rest of the season waiting for him to get hot. You need him either to be good now, be good consistently. I take either one of those, but since neither are happening, you need to get rid of him.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even so much that I think that you'd get something great in value for him. It's just that maybe what you get this season would be more beneficial than having DeBrusque on the team. And I think DeBrusque, I mean, look, what do I know? But DeBrusque apparently is this like supremely talented kid. So maybe DeBrusque needs just to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe it's here. Maybe he doesn't like it. Maybe like this is just not the right place for him.
It's just weird how he disappears. Like he's such a tease. You know, like he'll play out of his mind one game, and then you don't see him for 6 games.
Yeah, and he used to be able to stretch. He was always been streaky, right? But he used to be able to stretch like a couple weeks together, and now it's more like you're right, like 1 game, 2 games that he'll get real hot, and then he'll disappear for a month. So there's that, and then I mean, I would. You could convince me to trade Grizzly, but I would want something in return.
The problem is Grizzly's hurt again.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean,
but
this is the problem.
Yeah, but Grizzly isn't exciting to me in the playoffs. Grizzly is an albatross, I think, in the playoffs.
DeBrusque, I just looked at it real quick. 1 goal in his last 11 games.
Yeah, and then he'll go crazy.
And that was like, and that's the thing.
Because he's home in Edmonton.
He was home in Edmonton.
Send him
Had
to
a
Edmonton.
goal and an assist. And
For Draisaitl.
Yeah, exactly.
McDavid.
Perfect. They do
David Andrews.
Do that in a second.
There's cap issues.
Right. People that have issues with it.
You'd have to work around the
Right.
cap.
I'm not giving up DeBrusque for Draisaitl.
And that's another thing is I think I heard that the Bruins have like $10,000 in the cap.
I know,
something
right?
like ridiculous.
No, that's the thing, Sweeney, because of all the moves he's had to make, especially stacking that team last year. I mean, they are in an extreme corner. I don't know how you get out of
really
this.
bad. Jake, give me your jacket. Okay, good. We're a little under the cap. Okay, good.
Yeah, so they
That's
have
how
no
close
cap
they are.
room and they have no picks.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine where they'd be if Charlie Coyle hadn't been as good as he's been?
He's been awesome.
As I said before, he's got 20 goals this season after he scored both last night for the Bruins. That's one off his career high. And this is not a guy who's been in the league 2 years. I mean, he's never been a goal scorer, but he is this year because they have to have it. Jake DeBrusque isn't scoring goals. You got guys in and out of the lineup. The Pasternak needs help from somebody. I mean, it's not like Zacha has been this point machine.
No, and it's interesting because you talk about the trade deadline and what they would need, and going into the season, you would say 100% they would need a center. And
yes.
Then you're not in. They actually need a wing. They need size at the wing.
Think about it. At the beginning of the season, Matt Poitras was your third-line center, and John Beecher was your fourth-line center. Poitras's out for the year, and he's struggled for long periods of time, as you would expect a kid to do. And Beecher's back in Providence.
Yeah, and here they are, and that's not like a glaring position of need.
Charlie Coyle is the reason. That's the thing.
Yeah. He just needed the opportunity. How many times in life, Danny Roche?
Yeah, it's a good one, Fred.
Did you just need the shot?
Right.
Just give me the shot.
Yeah.
Put me in, coach. I'm
ready to go. Ready to play. Sorry.
Today.
Yeah. Because
Look at
ready
me.
to go today.
I can be.
Yeah, but you said put me in, coach. I'm ready to go today. It wouldn't work like play
wouldn't
today.
Be as flowing.
No.
Yeah.
He's got to be center field. You know what he is? He's a hot dog. Is the problem.
Calling too much attention to himself.
Yeah, why you don't have the cannon to play right?
Bragger.
You ain't no Tom Berdansky.
Yeah, you can't hit cleanup on this team. I don't care what position you
I
play.
don't care. You're no Mark Whitten. You can't write
Mark
for it in.
Whitten, who was here, by the way, in Boston for a
Fine.
cup of coffee after
Yeah.
he had that 4 home run game in St. Louis.
He had the 4 home run game, and if you watch those home runs, he loved moving his back leg. He would move it towards the plate. He was not built for average. he was like, if I make he was a Rob Deere fella. He's like, if I make contact.
Another guy who wound up here at the end of his career.
Rob Deere.
And so did Tom Berdansky was here too.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
that's right.
Berdansky had one of the great catches in Red Sox
1990.
history.
Yep, sent him to the playoffs.
Berdansky.
One of the great catches in right field.
Yeah.
Yeah, to clinch a spot in the playoffs. He made a sliding catch
Sean
in the
McDonough
right
couldn't
field
see
corner.
it down the corner.
Because all the fans were standing up. Yep, that's right.
I need to review that video.
Okay,
because
so-
I can't picture that man sliding.
Fred, when we come back,
Yeah.
the Celtics played last night. It looked pretty good.
All right. They played the Chicago Bulls on the road.
Yep.
Not a TNT game.
Nope.
All right. We will have that for you here.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Award-winning movies often have incredible soundtracks, and many of those have gone on to become country gold. We've picked our top 5 country songs that have been nominated for an Oscar. Text Oscar to 45911 to see if your favorite made the list on BackstageCountry.com. Text Oscar to 45911 and we'll send the link straight to your phone.
Half Toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
Sports Hub.
Isn't it nice?
What?
Being able to talk sports. Like, that's what we do for a living. You know?
Yeah, it's great. This is what I want to be doing at 6:41 in the morning. You could be sleeping. How late did you stay up last night, Danny? You know that when you're not here, everyone is fascinated by you. What time did you get in this morning?
I'll get in at 5, right around 5.
Okay, what time did you go to sleep last night?
I don't know. I anchored last night, the 11.
Oh, hachi-machi.
And then drove home. Was listening to Beersy and Judd. And fell asleep a little after 1:15-ish.
What time? Because you get up and you shave
Got
and
up
you
at
shower.
3:55. Yeah. Oh, I actually overslept a little bit this morning. Got up at 4:01.
Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness.
In a panic. Gotta hurry.
I know that feeling, the abject panic. But,
Right.
man.
But
Don't cut yourself shaving, I was saying to myself.
Yeah, because he showers and shaves every morning. He puts himself together.
I don't want
Danny
to smell
Roche.
when I come in here.
You would smell if you didn't shower?
Probably, yeah.
You have to shower every day not to smell? Okay. I don't think that's good for the skin. Even though Danny looks young, Nicholas made a video of the show yesterday for Instagram. At Toucher and Hardy, or at Fred Toucher, I put it up because he puts me as a collaborator. And so, and I'll tell you, Danny looks younger than me. And Danny's 45 years older than me.
Youthful exuberance is what that is.
He's lost a lot of weight over the
Joy.
years. Yeah.
You know? Happy opening day. You know, those things.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Northeastern today?
Northeastern's opening day is today?
No, the Red Sox against Northeastern.
Oh, okay.
First preseason game.
Because I'm like, Boston College has been at it for a while there in Arizona.
Yep. Actually, Northeastern played 2 games against Arizona before.
Yeah.
I studied up just because I knew Dan was here.
They got a monster. Pat Lane, this kid is just huge when you see him in the batter's box.
Fred.
Do you know how much it costs to go to Northeastern? I've been told. I was told yesterday.
You seen the price of college now?
$81,000.
Yes. I was going to say 90. Like some of them are 90.
And then I heard from a friend of mine that to go to Northeastern, that they sometimes don't have room in Boston.
Yes.
So you have to go to Oakland, California, or London, England.
Neighbor of ours.
Yes.
Their son went to Oakland there for the first semester. It's not even like, okay, we'll do your sophomore year.
Yeah.
Like, out of the chute, hey, congrats, you got into Northeastern. Oh, you've accepted? Hey, you'll start in Oakland, California.
Yeah, we're going to send you as far away as possible.
Right.
And then
we're the only Chick-fil-A in America closed because of the crime, right?
Yeah, well, and then San Francisco is no pleasant place either right now. So you get to move to Oakland only to move back to your hometown. All right, very good. Celtics played Johnny Wall.
Sorry to detract there, Fred.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Happy Friday.
Y'all said that?
I don't. Yeah, you're punch drunk because you didn't sleep. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Johnny.
He's punch drunk.
He is.
All right, go ahead.
Can I go, Dan? You okay? All right, good. Celtics played their first game since the All-Star break last night in Chicago, and they played a Bulls team that's under 500 and without their best player for the rest of the season, Zach LaVine. He just underwent foot surgery. So the Celtics, for the first time since the trade deadline, had everyone available, and given that information, you know what happened next.
Derek White goes behind the Cornet screen, and his three is good. 20th of the night for the Celtics.
Somebody called a bomb squad. These dudes.
Derek White, 28 points. He made 5 threes. Celtics had 23 threes in all. Celtics ran away from the Bulls 129-112, and they did that despite the fact that Drew Holiday took a total of 5 shots and Kristaps Porzingis shot 5 of 16 from the field. Jason Tatum.
How is that possible? How is it possible for Porzingis to shoot 5 for 16 from the field? He's 7'2".
Missed a bunch of threes.
Yeah. All right.
Missed a bunch of threes and tried a lot of mid-range stuff as well.
I heard Drew Carter with the stat on Derek White. Did you hear the stat last night during the game?
Which one?
That he's the only player in the NBA.
Oh, yes.
With 125 three-pointers or more, 50 steals, and 50 block shots.
He actually...
Isn't that insane?
That is a very specific statistic.
But I mean, block shots.
Derek White is the top shot-blocking guard in the NBA statistically. He was last year, too, and he made a play last night in the first quarter. Nikola Vucevic, who is the center for Chicago and is 6'9", 6'10", turns around to take a jumper, and White came up from behind and blocked it. When Vucevic had the ball up high, he didn't cock it back. White jumped up high and blocked it from behind. It was a hell of a play. I mean, that kid is a great defensive player.
What a trade for Brad Stevens. What was that trade?
Oh, Derek White. I think Romeo Langford was part of that deal.
Yeah.
I thought Romeo Langford was going to be good. That's what I know.
That didn't happen.
He was Mr. Basketball in Indiana.
Yeah.
Give the kid a break.
Yep. So the Celtics have won 7 straight games overall. Jason Tatum, 25 points. And you know what, Fred? He's pushing to be MVP of the league.
There's a lot of talented guys in this league right now. There's a lot of guys doing great things. You know, I won't have the points per game that, you know, the other 3-4 guys will. But I think, you know, the voters are smart enough to understand the dynamic of our team. Everybody on the team feels valued, right? That it's not just about me.
So what does he... Was he asked about it, or did he offer that information?
I believe he was asked about it.
Okay.
He was asked about his MVP candidacy because he just told ESPN he could be the face of the league if the Celtics win the championship.
Yeah, I got news for you. He's not winning the MVP. There's no stretch of the imagination is he winning the MVP of the league.
What he has going for him, and we talked about this yesterday, he is the best player on far and away the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, but he's not going to... By the way, did you see what? If speaking of MVPs, even though he probably won't win it either, is Jokic. Did you see what he did last night? What he shot from the field? Shot 100% from the field.
Really?
Yeah, he had
2 of 2.
He had 21 points. He had 15 assists, 19 rebounds, and shot 100% from the field.
He's pretty good.
Wow.
So no, he's not the MVP of the league. Jason Tatum's not the MVP of the league.
The team,
15 assists.
the Celtics team. Is the best in the league. 7 straight games they've won overall, 7 in a row on the road. They're 4.5 games up on Minnesota for the best record in the NBA, and they are 7 games ahead of Cleveland now for the best record in the Eastern Conference with only 25 games to go. And, Dan, you're better at this than I am. They're magic numbers at this point.
Oh, really?
For the Celtics to clinch the best record. I think the magic number is 21, if I did my math right. They visit the Knicks tomorrow night, and as good as you think the Celtics are, they're that much better. I mean, Chicago, undermanned, whatever. The Celtics kicked away an early 15, 16-point lead. They were down by 3 at half. But watching the game, you knew that they were never in any danger of losing the game. They were pacing themselves. And
They let up after. They got out to a huge lead, and they let up.
But that's the thing. I mean, that team went to sleep for about 5 minutes there in the second quarter. Chicago came back, and then when the Celtics decided to be serious, the game was over. And that's a rare skill to have if you are an NBA team.
And your guy got in too, Fred, right?
Oh, that's Xavier Tillman got in at the end. Had a block.
Had a bucket, right?
2 points.
I'm just impressed that you were both watching the game at the end.
Yes.
That you were up watching the game at
Beyond
the end.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
To watch this one.
When the game had already been decided. Well, congratulations to you two. We will be back in just a moment. We have a man, Dan Roche. Keep an eye on him. He is not. He's got on 1 hour's sleep.
And also, when we come back, a reason not to want Justin Fields if you're the Patriots.
You had teased that.
That's a tease, huh?
A tease.
We'll be back right after this.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Wondering who made our list of the top 5 all-time queens of country music? Did Carrie Underwood make the cut? Find out now when you text Queens to 45911 and scroll through the list on BackstageCountry.com. Text Queens to 45911 to see the talented artists who rounded out our top 5 list.
We're back with Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, we're Toucher and Hardy. Yeah, that was it. Now I got to fill 5.5 minutes. I didn't know that was coming. All right, what's going on?
Thank you for the save there, guys.
Yeah, it's all right.
So,
Ryan Beaton.
We have Bert Breer coming in here in about 5 minutes, so let's change things to football. Patriots, as you know, have the 3rd overall selection in the upcoming draft, and they got a lot of options. They could take a quarterback at 3, but another much-talked-about option, Fred, is to make a trade with Chicago. They have the top overall selection. They're expected to take Caleb Williams, and as a result, they could trade their starting quarterback, Justin Fields. So the question is, would you trade a 2nd or 3rd round pick to the Bears for Fields and take Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3 or trade down? Now, the Boston Herald's Andrew Callahan, friend of this show, was asked that question by Michael Felger and Michael Holley on NBC Sports Boston.
Do you like Fields?
I do not. I don't. No, I liked him coming out of the draft. Don't get me wrong. I had him mocked in my final Herald mock draft. Moved off of Mac Jones to Justin Fields. Thank you very much, New England Patriots. But when you look at the body of work 3 years in, he's just not a good passer. He was bottom 3rd in the league this year. QBR, completion percentage, touchdown interception ratio. I don't think that's a guy going into season number 4 you can count on as your quarterback.
Okay. Enough. Why would you trade an asset for Justin Fields when you have to pay him and there's a quarterback available at 3? Why? That doesn't make any sense. And we're going to get into this into greater levels. Look, I didn't watch a lot of LSU football, and I'm not even talking about Daniels. Let's just go by what people who do it for a living say. So the guy, this is just an example and a concept. This isn't even about the specific player. Matt Miller from ESPN is ranked the top 15 players in the draft. He's Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 2 overall. And he's got Malik Neighbors from LSU at number 3 overall. He compares Marvin Harrison Jr. to A.J. Green and Malik Neighbors to Stephon Diggs. Here's his talk of Malik Neighbors. He's the best after-catch receiver in the draft class. Okay, there. So Marvin Harrison isn't the best at something at the wide receiver position in the draft. You would why would you possibly trade for a guy who's underachieved in the NFL, regardless of if he has an upside, that you have to pay coming right away? You're going to have to pay him when you could get 5 years of a quarterback under that draft control to draft a wide receiver, and not only a wide receiver, but a wide receiver who there's other guys in the draft. Oh, by the way, his number 4 prospect is the kid from Washington, who he compares to Jamar Chase.
Roma Dun. Is it Dunze?
Whatever it is. Yeah. The kid from Washington. The big kid from Washington. So
right.
He's got his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th prospects in the draft are all receivers. So there's no generational prospect in the draft because there's 3 of them that all have fairly equal skill sets. So that's not – you can find receivers in any draft. You can find them. And by the way, you can win without an elite receiver. You can't win without an elite quarterback.
It's time. That's all it is, Fred. That's the reason why these things are going on, why these – I would do this, I would do that. There's so much time between now and the draft. It's like it's just, they finally have the highest pick they've had under Robert Kraft. They finally have a spot at number 3 where there's 3 quarterbacks that are all being talked about as the top prospects. Why in the earth would you get Justin Fields when you do have to unload a contract, make a huge contract for the guy? Just draft a quarterback. Everyone's overanalyzing the rumors and flying this around and these different things. Draft a quarterback. That's what you're there for.
Fields makes sense if you have a late first-round pick and you're going to have a late second-round pick and you feel like
you can't get up and get a quarterback.
Like Pittsburgh, if you think he's better than Pickens and that's what you want to do. By the way, have you heard Hasselbeck talk about Drake May? Hasselbeck goes, Drake May's a generational talent.
Yeah.
Then there's people comparing everyone's comparing Jaden Daniels to Lamar Jackson. They say Jaden Daniels didn't throw a pick on like balls thrown over 20 yards.
Yeah, that guy Riddick from ESPN thinks Daniels is the best quarterback in the draft.
So and Caleb Williams is going the number one pick.
But you have 3 guys.
Yeah, so you have 3 guys.
Yeah.
And I don't care. And people go, well, people miss on quarterbacks all the time, except for the Manning draft where what's his face from Washington State was taken. The
Brian
bust.
Leaf.
Brian Leaf. I mean. Like guys like Trubisky and Daniels out of Duke, like these that's with Washington.
Kid Rick Meyer who went after Bledsoe, he was a bust.
Yeah,
you have to go way back.
But you're not. Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. But Daniels and Trubisky and Ponder, like these guys weren't universally like lauded quarterbacks. Okay. There were flags on those guys and they were overdrafted. Like, there's no guarantee Daniels and May are going to be great NFL quarterbacks. But when you have look, we don't know, and the people listening don't know. But if you are taking people who do it for a living's word for it, and they're referring to these guys, and their comps are Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson, and there's guys that get paid to do it that are calling Drake May a generational talent. Why would you trade for a guy who's not been good at the NFL level?
And the other part of it is, and this is something else that Bert has told us over the years, all good NFL teams want to capitalize on quarterbacks when they're being paid as rookies.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Right. You want to make sure that you can spend money, all the money you can, on support pieces for the quarterback, because when the quarterback gets to the second contract, his salary goes through the roof, and your salary cap is busted.
And that's what I've been saying, is that there's no point for them to trade for Fields because Fields is going to have to be paid.
And what is this? This, again, we've been saying it for years and over again. Look at all the great teams. What is it? It's a coach quarterback league. It still stays the same. You have to find a quarterback in order to be a good football team. It's just the way it is.
It's not a wide receiver league. And there are wide receivers in every draft. There's kids in every draft. Every single draft you can get a wide receiver. Don't worry so much. Guys got second, third, and fourth prospects for all wide receivers. I guarantee you next year there's going to be a bunch of kids in the top 10 too. Just don't worry so much. And already it's proven Marvin Harrison can't be a generational talent because they're comparing other people to him.
You take
in the same draft.
You take a quarterback and then you keep taking quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Not just this year. You keep taking quarterbacks to make sure.
And if it makes you feel good to sign Gardner Minshew or something, go ahead and you can have him start for a year. There's nothing wrong with that. But you got to take a quarterback at 3, especially Fields. And there's no kid. There's no, Lawrence Taylor or like Reggie White in the draft either. There's no there's no Bosa kid. Like there's no reason not to take a quarterback. There's no one else. All right. No commercials here, just the headlines. We'll have Bert Breer from vacation. Bert Breer in just a